Well, it's hard when I feel like that trust has been broken.
Yeah. I'm Kate, she's sitting there feeling shit about herself.
Now, Tim, you know you messed up, bro. Now, Tim, you know you messed up. Listen, this is one of the biggest manipulations we've seen in Married at First Sight Australia's history, okay? We need to talk about it because this brother just literally gaslit Katie. I was trying to give him a chance. I was trying to say to myself, you know what? Let's give this brother a chance. Because you know what? I know he's a professed nice guy. He's got some things that are a little bit wrong with him. But you know what? I respected the fact that he didn't find Katie attractive, but didn't know how to necessarily say it. We all understood. As men, we get it. You don't win. Okay? But my thing was, he had to actually turn the whole thing into a lie. He actually told us that he was the one that was putting effort into getting to know Katie, and Katie wasn't doing that to him. And let me tell you this now. Whilst I believe that the Married at First Sight, the camera people and the people working behind the scenes like to formulate storylines and, you know, create particular characters, villains and heroes, on this occasion, they're usually not wrong, because when they promote the hero and the villain, usually the villain is really a villain because they got enough clips to support the villainy. And in this case, we have got enough clips to support the villainy of Tim. Okay, the dinner alone showed us he was a villain when he took no accountability and looked to flip the table onto Katie. But let's talk a little bit more about the gaslighting and the emotional manipulation that he actually did in this immediate moment by not telling the truth and by flipping the tables on Katie. So if you're new to the channel, do me a massive favor before we go any further. You like it, you share, you subscribe, you click on that bell button for the notifications of the uploads, okay? Click on that bell button so you get notified of all my uploads. So I'm following Married at First Sight Australia, okay? We're going to break it down, baby, okay? But let's get a little intro going and then we're going to do a little bit black. You know what time it is. I don't know what the heck happened there. They said they ain't gonna give an intro, but we're gonna do it live. You know what time it is. All right, cut it. All right, cool. Going back to Married at First Sight, Australia, season 12. Crazy season so far, and I'm loving it. There's a lot of great lessons to learn relationship-wise. Okay, so Tim's manipulation tactics at the dinner table. Now, you have to understand, they came to dinner separately. Katie and Tim came to dinner separately, all right? Okay, if you don't want...
Out of both of us, do you think that's who's been the most honest? They tried to communicate.
They came to the dinner table separately, okay, all right? And so when they came to the dinner table separately, the ladies were informed by Katie about what had happened when they weren't there. And she explained how Tim hadn't necessarily been the best partner because he wasn't really getting to know her. He had a type. He wasn't really interested in her, which was actually fair. And actually that point, when she was explaining, I was saying, sis, come on, explain it a bit better. You know that it's not that bad. When I say it's not that bad, what I mean by that is that you can't judge somebody for not liking you. It's like, if they don't like you, they don't like you. But as the day progressed and we went to the dinner table, it got worse. So here we go. First and foremost, we know from the earlier episodes that Tim was rejecting Katie. Okay, he let her know that he was not interested. He felt like there was no spark. He felt like Katie wasn't his type. He felt like, look, that, you know, him and Katie just weren't going to be compatible. But yet when they were asking him on the table what his reasoning was, he couldn't give one. Just like he couldn't give one really and truly to Katie in the beginning. Rather than being, you know, somebody who's upstanding citizen, somebody who is mature and somebody who's able to stand on their 10 toes down in their decision and come out and say the truth, like we saw with, was it Karina and Paul, how Paul handled things, he decided to play the villain, okay? He decided to play the victim. And he let us know that she wasn't his type, that he liked small, petite, and brunette girls. So why is it now all of a sudden, when they're asking you questions about what happened, you're trying to flip the table? And so in this instance, he actually went into a gaslighting space. He actually started making Katie question her reality to a point where she started saying, you know, maybe I'm not good at relationships, which is why Jamie starts...
I feel like I'm freaking nuts in this place.
Like, it's not great to be said at all. I mean,
What the hell is this? I knew it.
Now, of course, listen, I think Jamie needs to calm down because she's about to get her man into a fight. It seemed like I needed to chill. But I understood why. She was her friend, and her friend had just seen Katie literally do a 360. A 360 from telling her that, you know what this brother had been doing, Tim, behind the scenes, to suddenly, actually, it might be my fault. I didn't do enough. I haven't been doing the right things. Suddenly it's flipped on its head. And yet Tim hasn't shown us that he wants her any more than he did before. So, of course, I understand why a friend is frustrated. I can see why Jamie wanted to, let heads roll, as one would say. I get it. I see where she's coming from. Okay. And so he needed to take some ownership of the mistake, not even a mistake, but take ownership of the decisions that he actually had made. Instead, he decided he was going to gaslight her and make her feel like she was the problem and that she was the one that was pulling away when it was him. Right? He didn't want to get to know her. She was trying. She was crying, for goodness sake. But he tried to flip it. Okay? He was saying that she wasn't putting effort in when he had dismissed her and pushed her away. Right? And so now she's apologizing for things that she did not do. And that's where the gaslighting takes place. Right? Now, I don't want to say this necessarily because narcissistic people do this kind of thing, but he plays this nice guy facade. So Elliot was actually right about his nice guy facade and saying that it's going to be a problem, and it was a problem, and it is a problem, and it will become a problem because he's not being honest and true to his actual sentiment and his actual opinions. Now, and if anybody knows about DARVO, which is deny, attack, reverse basically onto the victim, and then make them the offender. Okay, so he denied being the one that was creating distance. He attacks Katie by making it seem like she's not the one that's trying, and then he reverses the roles by positioning himself as a victim and making Katie look like the one that was actually the issue, right? And saying that she needs to work harder to try and make sure that she's asking questions about him because she's the issue. So now she's now fighting for his approval when she was already trying to get his approval, but he's flipping the tables again. Right? He's flipping the tables again. Okay? So we can even look at it.
Well, it's hard when I feel like my trust has been broken.
Now he flips the table to a point where it's like, it's hard for me to really be cool with you because, to be cool with you now because, actually I expected you to back me up. And, when everyone was attacking me, I expected you to step in and save me. Why? You weren't answering the question. If you had answered it, people would have got off your back. And it's not like they answered you all at the same time. You went to different locations and people came to you at different times to have a conversation. But you didn't want to answer the question. And this kind of shows us the manner of who Tim is. This is why you're still single, Tim. No, respect, this is why you're still single. You're still single because if people are smart enough, they can clock your bullcrap from afar away. You are not fine enough to be having this kind of behavior. Just going to be honest with you. Yeah? Most of us are not fine enough to have this kind of behavior, to be honest. Right? But you flipped the script on her. Right? And made her seem like she was the problem.
Out of both of us, do you think that's who's been the most honest? They tried to communicate.
I think we both have.
Okay. I feel like I have opened up, but
And he downright knows he did not open up. He downright knows he did not try to open up to her and actually, try to make it work. She was the one chasing him the entire time. This nice guy facade is very dangerous because it's not real, and also because he's willing to flip the script onto the other person. Okay, he hides behind the excuse of he's trying when really and truly we know that he had been rejecting Katie. So he's lied not only to the people on the table but to us as the audience as well. Okay, all right. And so my final thoughts are this. Tim just showed us a classic example of emotional manipulation. And I believe that when people are that's why I said there's nice and good. I always make a distinction between nice men and good men. Nice men are not honest. They're not true. They don't know how to say no, they don't know how to say yes. They are very passive aggressive. They always seek to make themselves the victim in a situation because they believe that they're nice. Good men are not afraid of being a victim because good men are not afraid of being the villain because they understand that by me saying yes or no to things will make people not necessarily like me, but that's okay because I'm true to me. Tim isn't true to himself. It's okay if you wanted somebody else who you felt was more attractive for you. I wouldn't have begrudged you. I know some people would have been annoyed at you and said, how dare you because you're not so good looking. That ain't a problem. You still had to live your truth. But in this, no, you didn't. And then you ended up ghosting her later on. So all of this, in the end, now becomes this disgusting kind of behavior that's toxic and vile. And actually, you are rewriting history as you're speaking, making her question her own reality. That, for me, problematic. Well, let me leave it there. I don't want to say too much. I'm really looking forward to the next episode of this show as well. So as we see more, we'll report more. But make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, and click on that bell button for notifications of the uploads. We appreciate you guys. Still locked and loaded. We'll see you again very soon.
Black, you know what